I've just disconnected this. Do you know what? I'm not sure exactly what line that is. It goes all the way around the engine bay and goes into here. So there's coolant line there. Not much came out of it. So coolant line that goes into here, which I guess is the airbox. Must feed the cabin. Disconnected this one as well. I'm now just about to disconnect these cable ties. Being careful not to snip anything else. Holding this on because down here, can't quite see this, but down here there's a grommet that feeds into the down into the chassis. So if I pull the body up, this is going to go with it if that's the case. So I need to look at what's in there, and then if pull the body up and this cable tie is there, then obviously that will also go with it. So that reveals, okay, you can see this far down. Oh yeah, you can. These connectors, which I have to say, I'm not entirely sure what they're for. They feel quite crispy though. Not the tape especially. Oof. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, yeah. That just cracked. You can see this little thing here just cracked. This plastic is incredibly brittle. That one didn't crack, but then again, that's not engine side. Start giving a little bit more of a tour just so I remember things. So this alternator wire is fine, it's out of the way. Wrapped it around the thing just so it's not in this kind of area. We've got this big line here, this one goes down there. You can ferret that up here and it connects to what looks like a vacuum kind of feed. So I can probably disconnect that there, maybe, although it might be a little bit tough, but we'll see. So that's that big line. Then you've got this line, once again goes down to the front into the body here. So that needs to be disconnected. I'm not sure what that is yet. So it goes in there, so we'll see. We've got this connector under here. The connector under there doesn't seem to want to disconnect at the moment. I'll come back to that in a minute. See this washer line, which goes up to the windscreen wipers. Now you would think that's absolutely fine. Windscreen wipers, body, tank, body. But no, down here, the wiper line goes down here, loops under the chassis. There you go, I just disconnected it, just needed 2 hands. Undo it. Okay, that's out of the way. So we've got that connector. Still got this cable. Let's try and do something about that now. That's where my mechanical naivety comes into it. Because it's not worked on that many cars to this kind of depth. So this line needed disconnecting, because this one here, because it goes inside, looks like chassis kind of area, but it was connected inside the body here, well, here, and it was attached to this, which I don't know what it is exactly, forward part of some description, probably look it up later. There's something else, another line here, connected to the bottom via a kind of a clamp fitting, you can just see it. So I need to disconnect that as well. But I don't know what it is. So, and I've bent it over slightly, where is it? Unfortunately bent over slightly while disconnecting, just there. Hopefully that doesn't ruin the rigidity of it. It's a horrible connector though, to undo, just because the plastic was very tough. Anyway, I'll leave that wrap around there for now. we'll get this one off the bottom of here, and hopefully I'll find out what that is one day. So I've now also got this disconnected. Who knows what it is? I don't yet, but it was attached to here, bottom of the of this thing that's connected by all sorts of connected by all sorts of different junctions. Looks a bit mad to me. So it was connected here, and you got that connecting there, and you got that connecting to there, and then that connected to there, and this kind of electrical block as well. And then that's on the bottom of that unit that we disconnected the hose from before. I'll just fetch it out. There we go. This one here. So we had this connecting to the bottom of it, and that weird electrical connector thing. We had this line, wherever that is, connecting to there. And then we had just a breather hose connected there, ended there, and probably, I guess, went down through the bottom of the body. So yeah, and the side light has decided to pop out. Doesn't seem to be held in with anything really, just rubber, which is nice. So yeah, well, things are getting disconnected that go into the body, which is the idea. I just don't know what they all are. Loosens that off, I suppose. Get it out of the way. There we go. That doesn't look good, does it? Looks like that's been messed with a few times. No wonder there's no bolt there. There's absolutely nothing to hold it. Useful. Anyway, let's go and bag this up. Sorry, a lot of short videos at this point because the bolts and all that kind of stuff relatively straightforward. You could see what was going on front to back, and I knew what needed to be done. In this bit, the only bits of advice I found are, oh yeah, just do the accelerator cable and the brake booster, which I understand is behind the pedal box, and that, oh, I hate the pedal box. It's just, I just can't get in there, just twisting and turning all the time. I'm gonna get there, but for now I'm trying to do everything else. So I'll try to do everything on top here. So that included obviously the bit that I covered earlier, put that access panel back on for now, that little alternator block that we covered, and then I did pull the washer thing all the way back through because I wanted to see if there was anything else behind this grommet, and there is. I don't know whether I'll be able to show it you, but there's an earth strap basically. So the pedal box is out, bane of my life. I hate working in constricted spaces, and that is a constricted space. You've also got all the hard lines. I don't know if you can see those at the back on the left there. I just hate the idea of pulling those hard lines loose, them leaking, just having to be redone, just horrible. You can see all the stuff that we found in the pedal box, a couple of bits there that I just found. That used to be an accelerator cable that broke. You can see that, I'm not sure what that is, a few bolts, a few washers. But that's what happens with these pedal boxes because they're just such a pain in the butt to work with. The accelerator cable just goes into here. And this is an accelerator cable bracket, which is this one here, and that's the accelerator kind of cable stop bolt, if that makes any sense. It just goes in there to stop the bracket going too far forwards, basically stop this hinging too far forwards, which makes sense. So that's all the accelerator assembly. This one here is the brake assembly, so that went through a load of different things, and then a split pin holding it on the end, so that went through here, this one, attached to the brake booster, which comes through this big hole, that goes in there. And then clutch, sorry, arm in the way, this one here, similar kind of affair, just this push, plastic push thing that's held in around that rim there with that one there. So we'll get all those bagged up in a minute. So that was all there, and then the accelerator cable just pulled through. So that's the end of it there, just pulled it through the body. So the only thing left inside here. Oh, it's that big old hose up the top, if I can reach it. This one, that goes through the body, so we need to get that off the back of the brake booster. It's about here, shouldn't be too difficult. So I'll get that done. And then I think we're done in here, apart from we've got the steering linkage. But I'm thinking that probably happens underneath. I don't know which is easiest, to be honest with you. Undoing it here or undoing it just the other side, on the chassis side. I don't know, I imagine its chassis side is easier than trying to get that through that hole. Doesn't look like it's going to fit, so we'll get it lifted in the air and have a look at that. So hopefully we'll be done in here once I've done that backing mine. And then it's just a case of looking underneath, seeing if there's any more. There's obviously a load of earth points and various other things, battery cables we need to do, but I was leaving that till last because the doors are opening and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted the battery for as long as possible. Okay. Anything to note about the pedal box as well. We just got this out of it. These are two of the stupid spinny, well, they would spin. Don't know about these probably wouldn't spin. That I angled ground off before. Very much doubt I'm going to be able to get those off there to be able to thread some new bolts through. Don't know. We'll see. See if we need to get a new one of these brackets or whether it's salvageable. I happen to have a Sagaris manual that you can acquire at quite a reasonable amount of cost. Fortunately, this is now available from the TVR Car Club online, as long as you're a member. It's accessible there, but hard copies are quite hard to come by on eBay. This is what it says about taking the body off the Sagaris, or Sagaris, which is the very similar car, similar-ish chassis. So very similar kind of bolts, apart from roll bar hoops that I don't think I've got. But then it has this paragraph here, which just lists the things that you need to get off, and then that's it. Easy as that. Take the body off. There's a few pictures here for where the bolts are, but nothing about where all of these bits are. So I've started to make a list of things, and I'll tick them off, and then that will become a final list, and I'll write that into the guide, because I don't know whether I'll capture everything on video. End of yesterday, I just quickly disconnected that hose from the, I think it's called the carbon canister, which goes up towards there, and that connects to that fuel line, which obviously goes through the body. Next, we're going to work on that grommet up there, and there's another grommet the other side, so I'm going to get it down. Then we're going to go after the steering linkage. All right, let's go. And one of the other wires that comes out of that hole up there into the body, sorry, bad focusing, comes down to here, and we've got to disconnect this, and this, and then that wire can escape all the way back. So, crack on. So a small update, I've been calling this, for some reason, oh, I'm sorry, this item here, carbon canister, for no particular reason. I know it's part of the fuel system, but I thought this was the fuel filter up there, and obviously the fuel pump is in the tank, or at least I thought it was in the tank, but maybe it's not in the tank. Maybe that's the fuel pump. Anyway, be good if someone could let me know what this is exactly, because I've been calling it a carbon canister and it absolutely isn't. The thing I didn't know what it was, that was in here, well, behind this access panel, you can't see it anymore, that this pipe, breather pipe, is attached to. That is the carbon canister, because looking in this Sagaris parts list, Sagaris, whatever, parts list. Lost it now. Oh, there it is. That's what it looks like. It's even got that shape on the back, which has got a mounting kind of thing in the Tuscan, and that is the carbon canister. So that's the part that I've already disconnected, which Tim Hooker said I needed to disconnect, and indeed I have. I just forgot what it was. Anyway, we're working through the list. So I have, you see that wire dangling down there? That's from the unknown part. Exactly, fuel pump probably now. Got attached there, and here. Ooh, that's crusty as monkey, isn't it? Anyway, this speed sensor is giving me quite a lot of grief. So here it is, just in here. So it was easy enough to get that nut, was quite loose. Sorry, camera keeps wanting to focus in on the wrong thing. So that nut was quite loose. That nut's obviously meant to be this side because it's the end of the threads that detects this wheel spinning around on the diff to get the speed. But then this, I believe, is the other lock nut, and it's huge for a start. And I put my adjustable spanner on it, but I cannot, it's just hard, and I'm just turning it on a couple of sides, and so that I don't really want to keep going, because if I turn it too much, I'm never going to get it off. That doesn't seem to want to pull out. I can't really show you, but that doesn't seem to want to pull out anyway without the lock nut being adjusted. Sometimes cars make you feel really stupid. Speed sensor is out. There is no locking nut on the back on the Tuscan. In the Sagaris manual, Sagaris, whatever, it talks about undoing the rear locking nut and the front locking nut. But this one I think just has a front locking nut, because this just threaded straight out. You can just thread it out. So you set the position with this one because it's threaded, and then you just tighten up the front nut. I think that's how it works anyway. Well, either way, it is finally out, but sometimes you feel like you're just barking up the wrong tree. Small gap in filming there because I had to go and get a female star socket because this particular one is on the steering UJs, well, the joints inside under the pedal box there, which I'm going to have to undo in a minute. I also accidentally bought, I thought I was buying an 8mm female one, but it was on the shelf, but it just said socket. Got to look. Fortunately, this is the one that fits, which is good. And then a shout out to Halfords, to be fair, because they've got a lifetime guarantee on their advanced stuff. I sheared one of these this morning, as I think I videoed, and they just replaced it for free, because that's what they do with their advanced stuff. It's got a lifetime guarantee, no questions asked. So that was pretty good. Now, we'll try and undo this steering thing. Cool. I spent quite a lot of time fighting this UJ here. I want that rod has come out of that UJ, and you can see it's splined, right? The splines around there into there. It will not budge. Heat, plus gas, hammering, all sorts of stuff this thing has taken, and it just won't move. You can see all the plus gas all over the place that's cleaned off loads of different bits and pieces. I've even taken the screw out of this one and this one, well, the bolts, sorry, not the screw, and still not budging. Around here. We do have a freed off one there, and you can see behind it, hopefully. Let's try and get a bit further in. God, I hate this pedal box. You see that sticking out the body? So sticking out from the chassis side, just the other side of this there. Pulling on that, no effect. And I can't get much purchase on it anyway because it's right deep inside there. And it's got no grip. Obviously looking at it from this side, you can see that this is loose, which I just tapped out, which was fine. But I still can't get much more purchase on it there, and this is the offending UJ. Now maybe, as the body lifts up, it'll just fall out But I'd rather remove it. It'd be way neater and tidier. So that's what's really slowed me down today. Hours spent on this one with no success. I've still got battery, earth down here, earth down there to go, and that other pipe. And maybe I'm nearly there, but what a pig. So one of the next things to make sure you remove is the focus down there. Yeah, it's just this, you see on the right there, the reverse light switch. So it's, my finger's going to get in the way of the camera very badly, but that one down there was connected to that there. Obviously, if you pull the body off, that particular switch will just pull off with it. I don't think you need to remove the actual reverse light switch assembly, this thing here with the nubbin on the end. I'll try and get some action footage. I've been working on this pipe area, so this is just inside the driver's wheel well. So you can see that I've just started to undo this line, that's what it's dripping, which is fine. And then I'll work my way up on these other lines, which connect into the pedal box area. There is an earth here as well, I've noticed, or some kind of battery connection, looks like an earth. But it's impossible to get an action shot in here. I can't get my head, hands, camera, everything in at the same time. So you'll have to deal with a little interim video as normal. So disconnecting these lines and we carry on. All right, small update. My ball joint splitter, which I was trying to get in between the rack, I actually managed to hammer over this little collar. It seems to be exactly the perfect size, and then lever backwards, bit of hammering backwards. And that has got us halfway out, maybe. Now I should be able to hopefully get a screwdriver. You can't quite see. You could see, but no, you can't see. There you go. Maybe get a screwdriver behind it. See where it ends? Be able to knock it sideways or something. So we're very close now, I think. But this has been a pig and a half. So if you remember also earlier, I was trying to get the clutch and brake lines. So the clutch line's open. Brake lines, I need a 11mm flare nut spanner. I found a 10 and a 12 at Halfords. They didn't work, obviously. And I found 11mm at a Motor Factors, but it was just too fat. It just wouldn't go on for some reason. So one will arrive tomorrow, hopefully before 1 PM from the lovely Amazon. And then I should be able to get those lines off, and then we're getting closer. But this weekend has just been an utter, it's just gone so slow compared to the bolts. The bolts were easy in comparison. Success. It's out. We did make a mistake here though. That I put the ball joint splitter halfway down as well to try and get it off. So I've knackered those spines there. But you can see just below they're already starting to get a bit knackered, but not like that. And then the other side. Oh, there it is. Knackered them there as well. But I'd also already knackered them a bit in the middle there with a screwdriver going down into the UJ. So maybe this was destined never to survive. Anyway, and then back down here, this is the end that goes in the body. Back down here, it's pretty rusty around this this collar. So I think maybe it's due for a replacement anyway. It probably could have been removed and refinished, maybe, I don't know, but not now, because that's knackered. So we're going to need to replace that bit, which I think is the first thing that I've actually properly screwed up in terms of getting out. So that's a little bit frustrating, but we'll get over it. Now I'm waiting for my flare nut spanner so that I can disconnect the lines. So what I might start doing is disconnecting the battery. So I need to get down there into that arch. Show you. To this arch, get the cover off. It's down here, this cover. One bolt and a few cable ties. This is one of the things that's been in bad condition for a while. And then the battery's behind there, and I'll disconnect it, and then I'll start disconnecting all the earths that I can find. So that's a job for the rest of today, I think. And we're back. Just dropped the wheels on, put the car down, and off it just fell off. There's nothing holding it in. You can see from the number of holes, that one with a captive thing in it, as in it's sheared off. Just one up here, that's nice. Little one here. So it's had a lot of holes, so we're going to need to address that at some point to put that back on properly. There's the other end of the engine bay electrics, which I need to sort out. Anyway, let's get this battery off. This is something I fitted, which did have a waterproof cover that I've taken off. It's just a Optimate charging system, just a little with a fuse. So I'll take that off as I take the battery off, and I'm going to install something a bit more permanent and a bit less exposed to the elements than this is. Anyway, let's carry on. There we have it, one battery out. Didn't need to move the bracket, I just needed to angle it out the way instead of messing with the nut underneath, which I tried to find the size for a few times. Lambda sensors, or at least, yeah, lambda sensors I think. Most Tuscan owners know this, but that's the main fuse on Tuscan. So battery terminal's just the other side of this wall. I'm in the passenger footwell, and mine's a little bit open, quite frankly. Oops. But that's the kind of main breaker that sometimes goes, and therefore you get all sorts of complete electrical problems, i.e. nothing works. So we just need to disconnect that so that I can pull the cable out the other side, and then that will help the body lift off. Trying to record every connection, so apologies for really short videos. Here's another earth point. Oh come on, where's the camera? There it is. There's another earth point, so just top right. This is the one that the other side is here. This grommet just at the front here. Yeah, so that should be nice and easy. Another earth point here. Up there in the chassis. Right at the top of the chassis, near the diff, goes into the body. So needed a really long ratchet for this one to get all the way up there, because it is just quite frankly awkward all around here. Exhaust, chassis rails, diff, everything in the way. So we'll give a go at that right now. Woohoo! Awesome. So that's the other side of that earth connection. Just pulled out. I've got one last hose going into the body here that I don't know what it is. However, I have found out what it is. So that line there. Pull this one. Oh. So that goes all the way under on top of the chassis. Ends up here. And I've labelled this as VAC line to the driver's light. I have no idea what this is, if I'm honest with you. It's the one that had this connector on that connected to the carbon canister down there. Maybe it's a fuel line. I don't know. You guys tell me. I have no idea what this is, but it is the thing that's connected. So I don't really want to pull this connector all the way back through there. It looks just like a push fit pull, you know, squeeze fit connector, but I don't really know. Might have a go at taking this off, and then if it does come off the fitting quite easily and doesn't break, then I'll pull it all the way back through, because it should be easy. Let's give it a go. It's gone. So that came off. Come on. That came off fine. Needed chopping, obviously, but then getting the end off wasn't too difficult. And the line from that carbon canister, whatever it is, has come all the way back without an issue. So, good. I'm having a lot of trouble with this handbrake. I think I found out why. Oh, as normal. Trying to get the camera to look at the right thing. Aha. There we go. Let's see here. That bolt there can only come out one way, that way. And I think whoever fitted it the wrong way around, because you can see on the left of the mechanism, as we're looking at it now, clear space and not much of a chassis rail, so it'd easily undo there. But on the right, really close chassis rail. So they probably put the bolt into this handbrake thing, I don't know what to call it, and then offered it up and put the offered it up to the actual handbrake itself or something, I don't know. But either way, it would have come out the other side, and it's not coming out this side, and it's an absolute, well, yeah, another pig. I borrowed off one of my friends, Matt Tolley, an Imperial flare nut, 7/16, which I'm told might be what this is. Feels like it's fitting, at least on one of them. So we're going to give this a go now. See if we get some good action, and then I'll be very thankful. Hopefully you guys can see there. It doesn't matter what I'm using. I've got a 7/16 flare nut spanner. I've got a 7/16 spanner. I've got 11mm flare nut spanner. It just rounds, it doesn't move, just rounds, and you can see that I'm rounding it quite badly, that bottom one. And if I do any more, I won't be able to get a socket on it to get it off either. So I think for now, we're just going to snip these as close as possible to the block, lift the body off, and then I'll have full access to it. One pair of now quite nicely oiled tin snips later, and we have a little staccato rhythm. And all three are snipped off. They'll drain off. Not my ideal route for sure, but certainly faster, and hopefully I'll be able to get them out. And I was probably planning to replace all the brake lines anyway, because why go to trouble of taking all the body off and not replace all those kind of essential things. So I just don't like doing things a destructive way generally. So there we go. That should be everything disconnected that I know of or have read about. So next, we lift the body.